Alright gang, it's Wednesday, time for the Krakow Report. Are you guys ready? We got some news coming out of Moscow. Headlines, maybe you guys heard about this. The bombing of two separate Wildberry facilities. Wildberry is kind of the Russian equivalent of Amazon. Let's see what Benjamin Lee has to say about this. Once again, TPT World. This is the Break the Fake programming with your host Benjamin Lee. And let's see what he's got going.
To Wildberries, one of Russia's largest online marketplaces, located roughly 500 and 700 kilometers from the front line. Now, Russia has been trying to pass these warehouses off as purely civilian logistics centers. According to reports, though, they have become something much more useful than inventory space for online shopping.
Zelensky's taking some heat for bombing civilian infrastructure. The suspicion is that they're using this warehouse as a distribution point for military supplies. Even so, if Putin's doing the same thing to Ukraine, he bombed some of these retail distribution points just last week. So if he's got a problem with that, maybe he should quit himself. You can see this thing. So people flying in to the local airports could see this thing. And even with the Russian media blackout, Russians right now have they don't have TikTok, they don't have their Telegram social media platforms, so a lot of them don't know what's going on.
According to reports, the warehouses were being used to move sanctions components, platforms, navigation equipment, and fiber optic cables for combat drone production. Volunteers were also buying helmets, body armor, and camouflage gear in bulk. Officially, they're warehouses. In practice, that's quite a shopping list.
Yep.
Now, according to preliminary estimates, up to 15% of the company's warehouse space was damaged in a fire, with losses already exceeding $640,000. Now, for thousands of Russian businesses that use Wildberries warehouses to store their goods, the strike quickly turned into a financial disaster. Many are now reporting losses to the tune of thousands of dollars. Wildberries CEO Tatiana Kim expressed sympathy and
yeah, so the point is, Russians are now feeling the war. The war is coming to them. Ordinary people are now starting to feel the damage. Previously it was just something that was happening, far away from them. It didn't affect them. Normal Russians are now starting to go, "Hey, WTF? What's going on?"
Это просто это иногда думаешь, что лучше чем не заниматься.
Saying they won't be liable for drone attacks, essentially. I wonder why.
Болезненно, да, у меня вот чуть ли слезы наворачиваются, но, как говорят, мужчины не плачут.
Знаете, что сейчас будет? Сейчас опять поднимут цены. Помимо того, что сейчас подняли цены для продавцов на логистику, подняли комиссию в связи вот со всей вот этой ситуацией с бензином, да? Подняли комиссию, причем подняли ее очень сильно. Ну вот я за свой товар просто Wildberries, за то, что я там продаю на этой площадке, я плачу 43,5% с товара. Просто продаю. Когда я начинала продавать на Wildberries, это был 22 год, я платила, по-моему, 15%. Сейчас это 43%. Это помимо того, что я плачу за логистику, помимо того, что я плачу за хранение, за упаковку, за все остальное, да? Ну, как бы и себестоимость.
Imagine you're an Amazon retailer and Amazon won't pay you anymore. Or they won't compensate you for damage to stuff that was in their warehouses. And there's really no other game in town. The other retailers are now going to jack up their prices because they know that Wildberry can't take care of its people. So the profit margin is gone.
И в Котовске, и в Электростале. И он сейчас просто сгорит, мне выплатят какую-то вообще, я не знаю, наверное, половину себестоимости этого товара, и все.
Just 11 days before the strike, Wildberries quietly updated its term of service. From July 7th, the marketplace would no longer be financially liable if goods were destroyed by weapons, shelling, or drone strikes.
Weapons, shelling,
Interesting
or drone
timing.
strikes.
That's a
Interesting
specific clause for a company whose warehouses are supposedly just civilian logistics centers.
Yep.
It seems that company's management understood that the risk of using facility as military transshipment hubs. The company protected itself. Its customers, though, found out only after the warehouses were burning.
And they're mad.
The strikes also exposed something else. Russia's use of commercial infrastructure to support its military logistics may make supplying the front more convenient, but it also means...
So we've known this too. Russia likes to hide its military in places where, you know, otherwise they wouldn't be targeted as military targets. What do we got next?
Lines at Russian gas
shortages.
stations keep getting longer. Arguments are turning into fistfights, with baseball bats and other weapons coming into play. Naturally, Russia's loyalists have an explanation. The problem is not the fuel shortage, you see, it's the people waiting in line.
Right.
According to Russian patriots, there is no fuel crisis. The shortages caused by the shutdown of oil refineries are...
So yeah, Russians are feeling the pinch. Fuel rationing, high prices, often even if you get a ration coupon or QR code in order to buy fuel, you get there and they've shut the station down. So the Russians are feeling it, but they're not turning their blame toward Putin and the war. They're blaming each other. They're turning on their brothers. They've been buying the propaganda and the party line for so long that it's just not part of their culture anymore to criticize their leaders.
Как-то так. Потому что нам нужно обеспечить Москву минимальным количеством. Ну, кто ж виноват, что минимальное количество — это весь бензин.
Notice how every explanation avoids the reality standing right in front? Well, for Russia royalists, admitting that the fuel infrastructure of the so-called great power has suffered a serious blow would mean admitting something far more uncomfortable about the system itself. So, every shortage becomes a temporary hiccup. Every real problem is downgraded to a technical issue.
Sound familiar?
Meanwhile, the conversation quietly moves on to who should get fuel first and which regions can wait a little longer. What an odd way of dealing with a crisis that's supposedly not happening. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake.
Okay.
Before more news.
So there's a couple stories out of Russia. We'll update on the Russia-Ukraine war. Weather. So it's been a couple of weeks ago. The story was the heats.
It's July 20th, 2026. After so much emphasis on heat waves and
July 20th. Yeah, so here in Poland, we got a couple of days that were too hot. It reminded me a lot of a proper Iowa summer, brutally hot in the morning and very humid, and you could almost feel the thunderstorms building. And by the afternoon, sure enough, the clouds would darken, and we get a full-blown thunderstorm. The thunderstorms are becoming much more intense these days. In the 10 years I've been here, I haven't really been impressed with the thunderstorms, but they've been getting more and more Iowa-like, more and more Minnesota-like. I'm starting to feel at home with the severity of the weather. So we'll get these 2 or 3 days that are too hot, and then the storm rolls through and it gets chilly, back to jacket weather, and we'll have that for a couple of days. So Poland hasn't really been hit much by this heat wave. Now we're talking about excessive rains, flash flooding, and that's what's happening in the weather. Why don't we move on to sports? So congratulations, everybody. Donald Trump has won the World Cup. refuses to leave the stage. Come on, here, let's go this way. I could stand here like a toddler. So, that's what's happening in this neck of the woods. Tune in next time. Next Wednesday, I'll have another report and keep you guys up to date, alright? See you on the flip side. Take care, everybody.